Have you ever had one of those days when you're going through the motions of your job? You know, the one you trained for, the one you worked so hard to get, and suddenly a voice in your head whispers, "You don't belong here. You're not good enough." That voice, that's imposter syndrome. And if you've had it before, trust me, you're not alone. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine your skills, your experience, your hard work as a crystal clear pond. It's calm, it's steady, a reflection of everything you've achieved. But then a single drop of doubt splashes in, just one. And that doubt ripples out, clouding the surface. Suddenly, what was once clear is now murky, and you start to question everything. Your abilities, your worth, your place. But here's the truth. Beneath the surface, the clarity is still there. It's just that the ripples, the doubts have made it harder to see. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to quiet those ripples and reconnect with the clarity beneath. We dive into 3 powerful human skills that can help you break through imposter syndrome and find your confidence again. But first, if you're new here, hi, I'm Elizabeth. I advise Fortune 500 companies on how to lead and connect more effectively. I'm also the author of the book, Human Skills, The Power to Connect and Navigate Workplace Differences, a practical guide to thriving at work without losing yourself in the process. If that sounds like something you need more of in your life, then please go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss a video that could help you grow in your career. Let's get one thing straight. Imposter syndrome isn't about a lack of ability. It's about a lack of self-trust. Now, let's dig a little deeper, right? Imagine your confidence is like the peaceful pond we discussed earlier on. It's clear, it's still, it reflects everything you've accomplished. But here's where it gets complicated. Sometimes that fear you feel doesn't come from within you. It's shaped by your environment. Think of every negative comment, every time you've been overlooked or underestimated as a rock tossed into that pond. Each one sends ripples out, stirring the water. And the more rocks or doubts that hit the surface, the murkier the pond becomes. To put it in practical terms, when your workplace doesn't reflect your value back to you, that peaceful pond, your self-trust, in other words, becomes clouded by external doubts. The voice of insecurity inside you grows louder and harder to ignore. But here's the truth. That voice is not the truth. It's fear disguised as reason. And once you realize that, you can stop seeing that voice as a fact and really see it for what it is. It's just a filter, like a fog rolling over the water, making everything harder to see clearly. And once you recognize that filter for what it is, you can begin to replace it with something clearer, real feedback, real data, real human skills that can help you reconnect with your true clarity and confidence. Because no toxic environment, no broken system, no outdated culture gets to decide your worth. You do. Now, before I reveal the 3 surprising mindset shifts that can help you overcome imposter syndrome, allow me to share something very personal with you. As I rose through the ranks of the United Nations, there were so many moments, especially early on in my career, where I questioned whether I really belonged. I was just a girl from a small village in Africa. And so what business did I have sitting at some of the world's most important decision-making tables? And the crazy thing is, at the heart of that journey, I was serving as senior advisor on gender equality. I was immersed in the research, leading conversations on representation and inclusion, and yet even I wasn't immune to that quiet voice of doubt. That's when something clicked for me. In my work, I came across study after study showing that more women experience imposter syndrome more often than men. Not because they are less capable, but because they are navigating workplaces where bias and outdated expectations still linger. That was a wake-up call. I stopped automatically believing those insecurities and started interrogating them. I started having deeper conversations with myself, with the data, with the other women I admired. And what I found was this. Overcoming imposter syndrome wasn't about working harder. It was about thinking differently. That journey led me to 3 mindset shifts that truly changed how I saw myself and my place in that room. They helped me quiet the noise, rebuild my confidence, and lead from a place of truth instead of fear. And my hope is that these mindset shifts will help you do just the same. Let's get into it. Shift 1. Your feelings of doubt don't define your ability. One of the most surprising things I learned in my career, especially as I rose through the ranks of the United Nations, is that doubt isn't always a bad thing. In fact, some level of doubt is healthy. It keeps us thoughtful, humble, open to feedback. It invites us to pause and reflect instead of charging ahead blindly. That's part of what makes you human and a responsible leader. You care enough about doing well. You care enough about doing right by others. You ask, could I have done this better? Or am I really the right person for this? And those are really good questions, by the way, to a point. But here's where we have to be careful. When doubt stops being a tool of reflection and becomes a wall that blocks your confidence, that's when it becomes toxic. Left unchecked, self-doubt can become a habit, something you carry from one role to the next, no matter how accomplished you are. It can silence your voice in meetings. It can stop you from applying for that role you're more than qualified for. It can convince you that you have to prove yourself twice as hard to just earn a seat at the table. A seat at the table, by the way, which you've already earned. And here's the truth. You can be self-aware without being self-diminishing. You can ask questions, reflect, learn, and still trust your place in the room. So the mindset shift is this. Doubt isn't a sign that you don't belong. It's a sign that you're growing. But you don't have to let it dictate your worth. You are allowed to feel unsure and still move forward. You are allowed to be reflective and still take up space. The presence of doubt doesn't mean the absence of ability. It means you are in motion, you are expanding, and you are right where you need to be. Shift 2. Mistakes and setbacks aren't proof you don't belong. They are proof you're trying. Now let's normalize something right now. Everyone stumbles. Even the most confident, qualified, brilliant people you know, they've made mistakes, missed deadlines, had awkward meetings, and doubted themselves along the way. But imposter syndrome loves to twist those moments. It tells you, see, you're not cut out for this, or real experts would have never messed out like that. But here's the truth I had to learn. Mistakes don't mean you're not good enough. They mean you're in motion. You are learning. You are stretching. And yes, some setbacks hurt more than others. I've had projects completely fall apart. Ideas dismissed. Days when I replayed every single word I said in a meeting and wondered if I got it right. But over time, I realized something powerful. Those weren't signs that I didn't belong. They were signs I was growing. Because the only people who never actually mess up are the ones who aren't doing anything that challenges them. So the next time something doesn't go perfectly, ask yourself, what did I learn? How did I show up? What can I do differently next time? Remember, growth isn't linear. It's messy. It's full of U-turns, revisions, and hard-earned lessons. But it's also the very evidence that you do belong because you're still here, you're still learning, you're still becoming the version of you that your younger self would be so proud of. Shift 3. Your worth isn't tied to perfection or other people's approval. It's rooted in your unique strength and perspective. Here's something I wish someone had told me early in my career. You don't have to be perfect to be valuable. You don't have to have everyone in the room agree with you, validate you, or clap for you to know that you bring something real and important to the table. But when you're dealing with imposter syndrome, it can feel as though you have to work twice as hard to prove yourself, constantly measuring your value by how others respond to you. A raised eyebrow, an email with no reply, a piece of feedback that wasn't glowing, and suddenly your confidence just crumbles. I've been there. And I've learned approval is a moving target. It changes from boss to boss, from culture to culture. But do you want to know what stays constant? What you can actually build on? It's your unique strength, your lived experience, and the way that you see and solve problems. That's your real power. Not your ability to be flawless, but your ability to be authentic, thoughtful, and deeply human in how you show up. And the truth is, the more you chase perfection or applause, the further you get away from your own voice, the one that actually sets you apart. So here's the shift. Instead of asking, did I impress them? Just ask, did I stay true to what I believe? Did I lead with clarity, integrity, and my own insights? When you stop tying your word to performance and start rooting it in purpose, something changes. The pressure lifts, your confidence grows, and imposter syndrome loses its grip. So let's recap. Imposter syndrome isn't a personal flaw, it's a distorted filter that clouds your view of your own value. And while that filter may have been shaped by culture, by workplace dynamics, or even past experiences, it doesn't get the final say. You do. And that starts with shifting how you see or relate to your doubt. Number one, remember, doubt doesn't mean you're unqualified. It means you're growing. Reflective people will question themselves. That's not a weakness. It's a sign of care and depth. Just don't let it become a trap. 2, mistakes and setbacks aren't proof you don't belong. They are proof that you're trying. Every leader, trust me, you admire has stumbled. They just kept going though, and so can you. 3, your worth isn't tied to perfection or approval. It's rooted in your unique strength and perspective. You need to know this. You don't have to earn your belonging by being flawless. You belong because of who you are and what you bring. Now remember that pond we talked about earlier. At first, just a few ripples of doubt turned what was once clear water into something murky. But here's the truth. The water, in other words, your value, didn't diminish. It was just there, beneath the surface. Clarity returns when you stop steering the water with those doubts and start seeing them for what they really are. Temporary waves, not the reflection of who you truly are. So know this, you are capable. You have something valuable to offer. And the fact that you are here watching this, investing in your growth, that alone tells me you're not an imposter. You are just a human doing the hard, important work. So keep going, keep questioning, keep growing, keep leading, not in spite of the ripples, but alongside them. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these mindset shifts made the biggest splash for you? And what's one action you can take this week to stand firm in your own value? Drop it in the comments. Thanks as always for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.